Hi, my name is Joel Bond. The global coronavirus pandemic has left me locked down and stranded on this beautiful Greek island with plenty of time on my hands to make videos for you almost every single day. These are my locked down life lessons brought to you from the beach here in Greece. A decade ago, I found myself on a different island, the island of Iona, off the coast of Scotland in the Northern Sea. It's a tiny rock just a few miles in circumference, if that, with a small village population clustered around an ancient monastery. I had gone for a week-long retreat program to help process the grief that I was experiencing over the death of my father. He had died just a few weeks earlier to cancer, a brain tumor, and it left me reeling in the wake of his funeral, wondering how life would continue and what it would look like on the other side of his death. It was a difficult time, full of lots of emotional processing. I had so many expectations that I had for my father and our relationship. I had expected, of course, healing, some kind of miraculous recovery even. I had expected and hoped for some wholeness to occur, for the broken pieces of our relationship where maybe we had misunderstood each other, for there to be forgiveness and reconciliation. And instead, in the wake of his funeral, I found myself faced starkly with death, with unresolve, with lots of uncertainty, and a broken heart. It was difficult to know how to move forward from that space and that time. A decade later, I'm now on a different island, experiencing a different kind of grief, along with many of us. In isolation, quarantine, lockdown in various corners of the globe, we all are experiencing a certain kind of grief, that of a loss of normal. We had expected so much of this year, of this season of our lives. We'd wanted productivity and moving forward. We wanted happiness and wealth and financial security, and yet we've been faced with all sorts of uncertainty, loss of life, unresolve, and saddened hearts. But the story is not anything particularly new. In fact, 2,000 years ago, a small group of students were struck with grief as their beloved teacher, whom they thought would be the perfect political candidate to lead them into a new kingdom of freedom and independence for their people, were struck with grief as he was executed by the state. They were met with all sorts of sadness, stark realization of death, uncertainty, and nothing seemed to resolve. That man was, of course, Jesus, and many people around the globe today are celebrating the festival of Easter, which marks his resurrection or return to life. Now, regardless of your particular religious tradition or background, and even regardless of the veracity of the story, the truth is that it still holds sway and transformative power for millions of countless believers around the world. The fact is that the idea that Jesus was bringing into the world was not one of a new kingdom of swords and political power and armed forces and a constitution of sorts, but instead ushering in a kingdom of hearts, one that would transform your heart and your mind to see the world in ways that you never dreamed imaginable before. In other words, he was changing our expectations. Jesus was ushering in a new kingdom of hearts, drenched in metaphor that would spill over into the very physical and real world in which we live. A decade ago, when I lost my father, I had all sorts of expectations, but was met with a very different reality. And in the aftermath of that, on that Sunday morning and that Easter Sunday inside that monastery on that island, I came to recognize that while I had lost my father here on earth, I had gained the ability to emulate and live his ideals in my own life. So much of what he embodied as a human being is now taking form and shape in my own life. And I've inherited so many characteristics of love for the stranger and open-mindedness and eternal optimism. These things my Father embodied so well and have spilled over into how I operate in this world, in this life. The grief we're all experiencing now in this current coronavirus pandemic is really, hopefully, nothing other than the Saturday between the death of Friday and the resurrection on Sunday. And that new life will come out of this in ways that we never dreamed of possible. There'll be a new hope and a new way of looking at the world that will change us completely, forever, and for the good. Just as that story of Jesus continues to inspire us in many ways, that Jesus is indeed alive and well and inspiring and changing and shaping the lives of so many people around the world this day through new hope, we too can continue to live in that hope and inspire and change those around us. To all my Christian brothers and sisters around the world who are celebrating Easter today, Alleluia, He is risen, and He continues to shape, form, and change us every single day. May you encounter and experience the transformative life of Jesus in this season, and may you have hope for resurrection and new life on the other side of grief. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.